Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. I'm David Hubbin, right there, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And thank you very much for joining us. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to hang out. We go live basically every single day, bringing the most up-to-date content. I've also shared the StreamYard link to all of the places. So if you want to join us and talk a little bit of NFL Week 1 preseason action, more than welcome to do so. Today we're going to be breaking down the week number 1 in the NFL preseason. We're going to be overreacting to some of the stuff that I found online, and me and TJ are going to say if it's an overreaction or if it's an underreaction. TJ, what did you think of week 1 of the preseason? How excited were you to have that back, by the way? Welcome into the show, man. How's your day going, by the way?
It's not over yet. I still got to work. But anyway, it was good to have it back. It's like from the Hall of Fame game on, it was just, all right, that time of year is coming where it's nothing else matters.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. Like, ladies, either get with the program or find you a man that don't like football, because for the next 6 months, this is your life, right? This is every Thursday, every Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yep.
Football, right? And then this is what you got to deal with. So it was nice to have it back. It was nice to see this rookie class that has so much hype. It was actually nice to see them get quote unquote game reps. Like it's it's hard to judge preseason fairly, because one quarterback could look good, but then you got to remember, hey, it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is preseason football. They're probably not going against other team starters, more than likely. So
right.
So I mean, it's fine to be excited because of course, you should be excited about your team being back in the action. But yeah, you should just take a little bit with a tad bit of a grain of salt. I'm really excited to have preseason football back, but I have a small gripe with the NFL, right? Like, why did you guys put all of these games on NFL Network so nobody can watch them? Like, I understand that it's preseason football, and I guess maybe like networks probably don't want to pay to put preseason football games on TV.
And now they got a thing where it's called it's NFL Plus. All right, so now you got to subscribe to their premium.
I just don't understand why you would put games on platforms that nobody can watch them on. I mean, this is the next preseason game. We have Friday, you have all of those games are on NFL Network. I can't watch any of them. And then on Saturday, the Broncos Bills games on the NFL Network, the Commanders Chiefs come on NFL Network, Chiefs Broncos Titans on NFL Network. Why wouldn't 10 p.m. the Chargers Cowboys, again, I would really like to see. Why would you put these games on? Why wouldn't you put these games on another network that people could actually watch? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And yeah, it's a small gripe, and yeah, I'm very excited to have the playback. But yeah, I would like it if the NFL got with the memo here and put those games where people can watch them. But yeah, before we get into some of the storylines that I've dug up through the internet, let's talk about anything that kind of stood out to you before we get into the storylines I have dug up.
Let's see. Everybody's hyping Trey Lance.
We're gonna get to him in a minute.
Everybody's hyping Trey Lance. What's his name? That the Cowboys had 17 penalties in their first preseason game. Obviously, the one that was hot, some of the ones that was highlighted the most was why is his name escaping me? The old lineman they drafted in the first round, the guy from Tulsa.
Oh, Tyler Smith.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. He had a couple holding penalties, and they're of course, okay, calm down. This is his first time blocking someone that's not his teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I don't know how long. So it's would you rather it be in the first preseason game or the fourth week of the season? All right, would you rather have 17 penalties in the first preseason game or the fourth or fifth week of the season going down the road? So again, it's the first game. It's literally the first game. Stop your belly aching. It's gonna come. Another George Pickens is a grown ass.
We're gonna get to him too. For real. We're gonna talk about it. For me, I mean, for these players like Aaron Rodgers, who are like, why don't you just keep it quiet? Like the fact that, like, I understand that you don't need the preseason games, but they're not pointless.
No. Like he has he didn't say they were pointless. He said him playing one series.
Oh, okay. Because I just like I guess that comment was taken out of context. Because I read it and I was just like, man, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't ever shut up. Like, for real. Like, he's turning into the Draymond Green of the NFL. like,
I don't think I would go that far, but like, yeah, like he would.
Like, for real, man, he never stops talking. Like, just please shut up.
But he has a point.
But he has a point. For him playing one series, yeah, that's pretty pointless. But for these guys who are like fringe NFL guys, I mean, this is like everything.
Yeah, but he wasn't saying preseason game. I will get into this too. Like,
I misunderstood his quote. And then for me, this isn't what this is really what we're going to talk about. But like the Seattle Seahawks and Pittsburgh Steelers, like their quarterbacks all played very well in this game. We're going to talk about George Pickens here somewhere down in the show. But like Kenny Pickett was good, Mason Rudolph was good, Mitch Trubisky, Drew Lock, Geno Smith, all of those guys were good in this game. So maybe the things aren't as bleak as we may think when it comes to these two teams and their situations when it comes to the quarterback position for this upcoming season, especially if you're I know you're going to hate this, but like if you're a Tyler Lockett owner and you own Tyler Lockett in fantasy, like I think Tyler Lockett could be pretty. He's going to be good next season. I don't really understand why all the hate on Tyler Lockett just because of the quarterback change. It's ridiculous. Let's get into the storylines. First, number one, Trey Lance is perfect for Kyle Shanahan's offense, the offense that he wants to run there in San Francisco. Trey Lance, in his first preseason game as the quote-unquote starter, 4 for 5 passing, 92 yards and a touchdown, 18.4 yards per attempt, a perfect 158.3 passer rating. Looked pretty solid in that game against the Green Bay Packers. Limited, it wasn't really going up against the number one defense for the Packers. Is this an overreaction, just right, or underreaction?
It's an overreaction of like, so it like he's perfect for this offense, and yeah, okay, he's played in one preseason game with minimal reps against actual starters. Let's see him play against, Aaron Donald for 50 snaps a game and let's see how perfect that offense he is when he's actually throwing against Jalen Ramsey all game and not, I guarantee you Jair Alexander or Rasul Douglas didn't even play in that preseason.
They did not. Right? Yeah, neither of those guys.
Right. So Jair Alexander, Rasul Douglas, I'm willing to bet Adrian Amos played no snaps in that game, but yeah, he's perfect. Like just like him being a dark horse MVP candidate, like this is like, come on, like this is one of those things. And again,
I for sure I agree with you. Yeah, it's 100. This is like a wild overreaction. Yeah, none Green Bay didn't start any of their first team defensive players. Sure, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, sure you should be excited about what you saw on the field, but like. Let's temper your expectations a little bit. Come on.
He has to sell himself now. All right.
Correct.
Again, you are moving off a quarterback. Say what you want about him. 2 NFC championships, a Super Bowl, and he won 65-70% of his games when everybody, including himself, was healthy. Right? That's what you have to reflect.
He's one Emmanuel Sanders overthrow from winning the Super Bowl.
And he's one drop pick away from going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, this is so it's not like he doesn't have a choice. He has to be good. He can't be bad. He can't be average. He has to be very, very good. That's what he has to do. So he basically has to be in the MVP race to justify them drafting him and them moving on from Jimmy G.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you. That's for sure 100% overreaction. So let's talk about the next guy on the list there, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts will take his game to another level this season based on one preseason game. He completed every single pass that he threw during this game, 6 of 6 for 80 yards and a touchdown, 13.3 yards per attempt. He also had a perfect passer rating, 158.3, including a really nice passing touchdown he threw to Dallas Goedert. and he didn't have like we'll see what happens when he has like a full complement of weapons, but like yeah, Jalen Hurts take his game to another level, overreaction, underreaction, or just right.
Again, like I know the perfect pass rate made Izzy happy. Six made Izzy happy. Like so we counting preseason games.
Yeah.
Like again, another overreaction. I would. Who did they play? The Jets, right?
The Jets, yes.
Like yeah, again, it's definite overreaction. Just like they showed this picture of, excuse me, Jordan Davis is going viral. He's getting triple teamed, and they like, oh, he getting triple teamed. I'm like, yeah, are any of those guys starting for the Jets? Like, come on, like okay, it's again, I get it. You gotta sell it. You have to like Trey Lance, Jalen Hurts. You gotta sell them. All right, like they like so Jalen Hurts going 6 for 6. Hey, I'm accurate. No, you're not, dude. No, you threw 6 passes.
I actually think this one's just right. Like I do think Jalen Hurts is going to take his game to another level this season. I'm not saying he's going to become, like Tom Brady or like the most accurate quarterback in the league, but like the fact that like you look at the offense, it should be better this season. He's added a really good wide receiver. They just traded away JJ Arcega-Whiteside. We're gonna talk about him a little bit later. But I mean, look at the weapons they have on this team. I mean, if Jalen Reagor can kind of like he was having a decent season last year for parts of it. I mean, Quez Watkins is probably one of the 5 fastest players in the NFL. Like this is a wide receiver. This is an offense that should put up points. I mean, they have a really deep running back group with Kenneth Gainwell, Miles Sanders, Boston Scott is still on this team. I think Jalen Hurts. I think this is one just right. I think Jalen Hurts is going to take his game to another level. Like based on what he did last season, I think he's going to improve, and I think this offense will be a little bit more potent next season. I think the Eagles are like a dark horse, like fringe NFC Championship type team. Like based on their defense and their offense, like their defense is going to be awesome this season. I think.
Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool. That's good. Again, we can say all this all we want until they actually play meaningful games together.
Yeah, I mean this is why it's preseason, and this is why we're overreacting and stuff.
This is why we don't play games on paper. So again, you can have all these fancy schmancy weapons. You can have a deep running back room. You can have the best front four in all of football. Doesn't matter if the quarterback in question can't get those receivers, those with shiny new weapons, the ball. If that defense with that impressive front four, front seven is always constantly on the field, because even if they are great, guess what? If you hit a dam enough, the water comes out.
That's true.
So if they're constantly on the field because it's 3rd and out, like 3 and out, okay, then we get 1 first down, then another 3 and out. Yeah, that happens. So until Jalen Hurts can consistently prove he can throw the ball accurately, you're gonna face it. And I'm not talking, because I know Izzy gonna do it. He's gonna throw for 300 one week, and then that 300 gonna drop to like 212, and then like that. Like no, you can't fluctuate between. Like, you can't do that every week in and week out, especially for the team that you got. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. I think he's going to play better this season than he did last season. This is another one of those reactions that I see on the internet. The Jets should consider drafting another quarterback in 2023 after Zach Wilson got injured during the preseason game, the first one. He avoided major injury. It's just a meniscus tear. He underwent surgery today, or he will. Or hold on. So they're going to check out his knee scope, meniscus tear. Expected to miss about a month. Overreaction, underreaction, or just right?
So you want you want the Jets to go from young quarterback to another young quarterback with the same questionable.
I never. This is the things I found on the internet. So
no, I'm not saying you. But I'm just saying you want the Jets to go from young quarterback to young quarterback with the same questionable offensive line, where they just lost their offense, their starting left tackle for the entire year.
I mean, they paid Dwayne Brown like the box of money, like holy cow, in order for him to be their left tackle for the next 2 seasons.
And it's the Jets. So you want me to come to the Jets? I'm gonna need that. Not to mention, like again, Mekhi Becton is a larger than average, larger dude, right?
For sure, 100%.
Like take large. He's bigger than large. So like whatever your average large offensive lineman is, he's bigger than that offensive lineman. So and it's his second lower extremity injury. Right? It's his second one. And this one's more severe. So I don't, that's an overreaction to me because Zach Wilson, first off, are you putting him in a position to be successful in the first place?
I think they're trying to.
You're trying to, and this season, I mean, like again, it's not like he's out for the season.
No, I mean he should be back by week. He doesn't need to play until week like 4 or 5 anyways. So there's no need to rush him onto the football field. But this is an offensive. This is for sure an overreaction. Like, Zach Wilson, like all of the reports out of his training camp and how good he's looked. And I always take this stuff with a grain of salt, but like the conversation around Zach Wilson is how good he's looked in practice in training camp. This is a wide receiving room that I actually kind of like a lot. Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios, Denzel Mims, CJ Uzomah is their tight end. Tyler Conklin's also on this team. Jerry Rucker. And look at their offensive line. I mean, Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elijah Vera Tucker, George Font. Like on paper, this is actually a pretty decent offensive line. Like Breece Hall, like Michael Carter Jr., Devin Coleman, of course his own Devin Coleman. Tyler Johnson was really good in that preseason game. This is a way overreaction. I'm not punting on Zach Wilson after 1-2 seasons just because he got slightly hurt in a preseason game. The people that are overreacting to like all of a sudden they're like, oh, his career's over. Like, no, just calm down.
They're overreacting to two. They're overreacting to two things. They're overreacting to Zach Wilson's injury, and Robert Saleh. Like Robert Saleh can't coach.
I mean, how is that?
This new bias or stigma towards defensive-minded head coaches, it got to go. Like, they got this young quarterback and they gave him a defensive-minded coach. To your point, that's what offensive coordinators are for.
And let's not forget the Jets won the game. They did win.
If you have an offensive-minded coach like an Andy Reid, right? Who gets and you have offensive coordinators, who gets the credit? Does the offensive coordinator? No, Andy Reid gets the credit.
Yeah.
So like we literally see like.
I think that might be one of the reasons Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job yet, because everybody's like, I wonder if it's how much of it is him and how much is the fact that he is the offensive coordinator for a team coached by Andy Reid, who's like offensive guru.
Like Sean McVay has had 2 assistants leave, right? And it's like no matter what, like Sean McVay's offense, like Kevin O'Connell was the offensive coordinator last year. Sean McVay got all the credit. So yeah, that's the overreaction on Jets' part. Like just young, like bad teams don't go from bad to Super Bowl contender overnight. Like it just doesn't happen, right? So no.
Moving on from staying in the quarterback position, actually, the next couple are actually about the quarterback position. The Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, 13 of 24, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. The Packers
were not his fault. 2.
Jordan Love is not the answer of backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, and he is not the one who's going to replace Aaron Rodgers as the heir apparent. The Packers should think about drafting somebody next season. Overreaction, just right, or underreaction?
Probably just right. And if I'm Jordan Love, I should just think about leaving. Like, sir, this is year what?
This is year 3 or 4.
3 or 4, and I'm right. And Aaron Rodgers, but because of
he just signed a 4-year contract. Like he's not going
because of the contract he got, because of how they cater their quarterbacks in today's NFL. You can't look their direction, otherwise that's a penalty. Especially quarterbacks that are grandfathered in like him, like Aaron Rodgers is. Like I literally saw a game where it was the Bears game actually. Aaron Rodgers taunts a Bears defender. The Bears defender retaliates, and the Bears defender got hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct. Like it's like, and this happened in front of 2 refs. Like Aaron Rodgers grabbed Mario Edwards Jr.'s face. He grabbed his face mask, because Mario Edwards was on the ground. He grabbed his face mask, and Mario Edwards slapped his hand away, and he got hit with the unsportsmanlike conduct. So if I'm Jordan Love, yeah, I look at, I just think about leaving. Hey, is there anywhere else I can go? Like seriously, because your rookie contract is gonna end.
Yeah, he's got 5 years left on that. He's got 2 years left on his rookie deal. Yeah, I think this is just right too. Like Jordan Love is not going to replace. Like he's not the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers. Like that's just a end of story. He's just not, and he hasn't been remotely good either. So like he doesn't have any trade value. So we're not going to trade him. Like. Yeah, Jordan Love isn't the answer at quarterback for the Green Bay Packers after Aaron Rodgers. Whenever he decides to stop talking and running his mouth and retire, like
it's like I don't like. So yeah, if again, Goody Kuntz, great first round pick, bro. Great,
yeah, fantastic. He can play against backups. He throws 3 picks in the game. That's fantastic stuff right there.
Great first round pick. Great first round pick on Jordan Love. Because his rookie contract is going to end before he ever plays in a meaningful game.
Yep.
For the Green Bay.
Green Bay could have been building up that offensive line. They could have built up that wide receiving core that's really hurting right now. Yeah, this is it's so bad. I think this is just right. It might even be an underreaction that they should for sure think about drafting somebody else because he's not the answer. Moving on to a team that did draft a quarterback this year, drafting back-to-back over/underreactions. Desmond Ridder should be the week 1 starter for the Atlanta Falcons. His completion percentage is not particularly good. 10 of 22, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran the ball for 6 times for 59 yards. The touchdown he threw to, I think it's Jared Bernard, the tight end. It was really a pretty play.
And he won the game.
And he won the game. Overreaction, just right, or underreaction that Desmond Ridder should be the week 1 starter for the Falcons.
Oh, that's just right. Start him. What does Marcus Mariota have to go out there and do? You know what he is. You know what he is. Desmond Ridder, 1 month into the NFL, is probably going to be better than Marcus Mariota.
I don't know about
that. Given the necessary reps, 1 month in, he's gonna be better. Marcus, the one thing that's always eluded Marcus Mariota is his accuracy, right? Like that's legit why a guy in Ryan Tannehill who looked awful in Miami literally came in and took your job and never gave it back. He took your job, never gave it back, and you had to go. You, the team that drafted you, second overall. You had to find a new home. So, yeah, I would definitely start Desmond because, first off, I get it. Marcus Mariota, probably a nice guy. Never met him. Never spoke to him. He's probably a great locker room guy. Desmond Ridder can't learn nothing from him that he can't go out and do on his own.
I actually think this might be an underreaction. I mean, what is the point? Atlanta isn't going anywhere, right? So what is the point?
Exactly.
What is the point of starting Marcus Mariota and letting him just do whatever for 1 season, as opposed to finding out because you're probably going to have a top 5 pick next season. Finding out if Desmond Ridder is going to be the guy, or else should you use an early pick on a quarterback next season, which is what the conversation is going to come up because they're probably going to have a top 5 draft pick next season.
Exactly.
So this is an underreaction. I think Marcus Mariota's short tenure in Atlanta will be. He's never going to start a game for them unless Desmond Ridder gets injured. Yeah, I think this is underreaction. I think start Desmond Ridder. What do you got to lose?
Exactly. I mean, you're down Calvin Ridley for the year, which don't even get me started on that, because the NFL definitely showed me where their priorities lie when it comes to gambling versus other things, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
But that trio.
And Drake London got hurt in that preseason game, so I haven't looked in the report of how bad that is. I just know
But that trio of him, Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, you still got Cordero Patterson being the Swiss Army knife that he is, which, by the way, shout out to Cordero Patterson. I don't know how many years he's been in the NFL, but he finally made it to the top 100, NFL top 100 list.
Yeah, that's what's up, dude.
And for the first time in his career, also shout out to Roquan Smith and David Montgomery. I think they are also newcomers to the NFL top 100 and NFL top. I just want to know why y'all rank Mac Jones ahead of Kirk Cousins. That just doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I don't
That
know.
no, that will.
Yeah, I saw that trend on the internet.
We should do a reaction to the NFL top 100 when the whole list come out, because this is a list. This is a list the players vote on, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I like that actually. You know, we're gonna need content anyway. So yeah. But moving on from the Atlanta Falcons, staying with the quarterback taken in this year's draft, Malik Willis. Malik Willis should be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans in Week 1 after he started his first preseason game, or he may not have started. He may have came in after Logan Woodside, who did not play well at all. Malik Willis, 6 of 11, 107 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but he also ran the ball in from was his 5 carries, 38 yards, and a touchdown. He had a really nice 17-yard touchdown. He showed a little bit of looseness. I don't know if it was really short of a looseness. It was just like really bad tackling on the part of the Baltimore Ravens. Really poor tackling. But overreaction, underreaction, or just right?
Malik Willis should be starter for. No, he should not be starting.
This is 100% an overreaction. Like you see him have like one decent touchdown, and like keep in mind that the only touchdown the Tennessee Titans scored in that game was the one where everybody decided not to tackle him, and like he got into the end zone.
Yeah, no, he shouldn't be. But you're gonna ask, oh, what's the difference between him and Desmond Ridder? Well, one is
the Tennessee Titans were the number 1 seed in the AFC last season. Like
there you go, and you don't like.
Yeah, they still have plans that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. Like
there you go, like they are, like I get it. Was that the best playoff performance under Ryan Tannehill's tenure? No, it wasn't. He threw a bad pick, which pretty much sealed their fate. Yes, he did. But guess what? That's the game of football that we love, and it happens. Right, it happens. Like Aaron Rodgers literally threw a ball to Devontae Adams in coverage when he had 3-4 wide receivers wide open. Right? That happened in a snow game that he should have beat Jimmy Garoppolo. But it happens. But no, as long as Ryan Tannehill can make the throws and run the offense that they so desperately that they want to, I get it. You have to replace whatever production AJ Brown gave you.
I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but
that's the scary part. Not about who's playing quarterback. Right, the worst thing you can do is throw a rookie quarterback out there with a terrible receiving core.
I'm not like outside of Traylon Burks, I think is still who the guy they drafted, but like outside of that, I'm not sure who their wide receivers are.
I don't know who their receivers are. I don't know who they tight ends are, and so it's basically Ryan Tannehill, Traylon Burks.
Well, they got Robert Woods who's coming off the.
Robert Woods, he's coming off an injury.
Yeah, Austin Hooper's on this team. He's a pretty good tight end. I mean, they have a good offensive line, but yeah, this is an overreaction. Like you're not like as we talked about, the big difference between when we talked about with Desmond Ridder and this situation with Malik Willis.
There are no expectations in Atlanta.
Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons they know they're going to stink. They know they're probably going to have a top 5 pick. You might as well find out if the guy who's already on your team could be the quarterback of your future, because you need to know that if you're going to make a top 5 pick and you're going to pick another quarterback, well, you're never going to know if Desmond Ridder's good or not. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
And then
the Titans, they want to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. I mean, they have a healthy Derrick Henry this season coming back. Like you expect to be a playoff team. Like you're not rolling out Malik Willis at Week 1, which is not, especially since he hasn't really played a pro style offense.
And if you're Atlanta, so you go from young quarterback to young quarterback. Guess what you're going to be doing again? Taking top 5 all over again. You're going to be asking the same questions. So instead of Desmond Ridder, it's CJ Stroud the guy. It's the guy from Kentucky. The guy is the guy from
Kyle Levis or
Will Levis or something like that.
Will Levis.
It's Bryce Young the guy. So you're not doing yourself any favors.
Anthony Richardson.
Whoever, you're not doing yourself any favors.
And then the final one, George Pickens is the real deal for Pittsburgh. 3 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. The touchdown he caught was incredible.
Nice. That was a nice. Again, it's
overreaction, underreaction, or just right.
Well, the one thing that also went viral was that block he threw on that DB. It's kind of like how he did in college, where he just literally just shoved the DB to the ground. It's just like, yeah, I'm a grown ass man, and you have to deal with it. it's maybe I don't know. It may be just right. He may be the perfect counterpart to a Chase Claypool, right? And
I mean, Deontay Johnson's their number one wide receiver. At least
eh,
they're paying him like that.
Deontay Johnson's also not a true number one. Like, go back to
Okay.
the slot.
Okay.
Go back to the slot. Go back to the slot where you belong. So we got Pickens and Claypool on the outside, and you're carving up third, like everybody's slot corner. That's where you belong. That's what you are. Deontay Johnson is what? 5'10", if that.
Hold on a second. I'll get it.
Beat you to it. 5'10". He is 5'10". He is 183 pounds. What number one receiver you know is 183 pounds?
But he has gotten better every season. I mean, he had 107 catches last year for 1,100 yards.
I will give him credit for that. But, like, just because you put, like, no, that still don't make you a number one guy, bro.
They're paying him. They're paying him like a number one guy. So, you know.
You're a slot you're a slot receiver at best. Like, you're a slot. Like, it's great that you can play outside.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, right?
I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But not that you can, like, not that it's a bad thing that you can play outside the numbers, but where you're probably more effective is in the slot, right? So Deontay, I get it. Like, I get J Ram usually struggles with more shifty and more quick receivers. But if I'm Pittsburgh and I gotta play the Rams, do you really think I want Jalen? I want J Ram to shadow Deontay Johnson the whole game? Probably not. No, that's not gonna end well for me. So yeah, so like he can literally Pickens at the 1 or whatever at the X, Claypool at the Y. He's your Z. He's your slot. He can literally go back to his natural spot.
I think this is about just right. Jordan Pickens, who was really talented. He spent a lot of time injured at Georgia, so that's why kind of he fell in the draft process. But like the dude's talented, like real talented, and I think this one is just right. Just right. Moving on from some storylines and some reactions to the internet. Let's talk about a little bit of something, nothing, everything. Couple things, articles here that I want to ask you if there's something, nothing, or everything. So Bill Belichick in the news again. Splitting of play calling between Matt Patricia and Joe Judge is not rooted in competition. What is this? Is something, nothing, or everything?
It's a what does it mean? Okay, so I'm glad that you brought this up because some NFL genius, we shouldn't question Bill Belichick. He did this before in 2014 or whatever. Okay, who was his quarterback in 2014? Just
just that guy that I always bet against, and I always
like you can say like, and like I get it, like it worked out fine then. I'm like, yeah, because who was his quarterback in 2014? All right, he didn't have an offensive coordinator that year, but who was his quarterback? Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
It's like, are we putting Mac Jones in that conversation already? I hope to God not, because the last
he goes to the playoffs, he gets just smoked in the playoff game. Oh, he's gonna be Tom Brady.
They won the Super Bowl that year with no offensive coordinator. Yeah. They also benefited from the dumbest goal line call in the history of goal line calls.
Yeah.
All right. So stop with the revisionist history because it's not the same. So I don't know. Like it's not a something, nothing, or everything. It's a what the hell are you doing? Because right now you're losing. The Tom Brady Bill Belichick matchup, Bill, you're losing.
For sure, he's for sure losing.
Yeah, you're losing. So we know what your career was. Like pre Tom Brady, you like okay, you rode the. It's not fair to say that you rode the coattails of what is his name, Bill Parcells. Right? That's not fair for me to say because you were the defensive coordinator on that team, and you did coach Lawrence Taylor, who you say is the greatest football player ever. Not defensive player, football player in general, like in the entire sport, you think Lawrence Taylor is the greatest football player ever, I cannot knock that statement at all. But
he's probably not wrong.
he has a very compelling argument.
Yeah.
You won 2 championships there. Okay, then you become the guy in Cleveland. You got fired. You took the Jets job for a day.
One day.
Not even a day, 18 hours. And then you resigned. And then you went to New England where you got off to a rocky start. And then Tom Brady becomes your quarterback. And the rest is, as I say, history in that tenure. And now you're out of the Tom Brady era. And in 2 games against the Buffalo, 2 playoff games against the Buffalo Bills, you haven't stopped them. Like, you haven't forced the Buffalo Bills to punt.
they didn't score. The only time they didn't score was when the game ended.
No, I'll take that back. It wasn't 2 playoff games. It's just like the last 2 games in general, and one of those games happened to be a playoff game. So the last 2 times you have faced the Buffalo Bills, a team that you have literally owned for the past 20 years, the last two games, Buffalo has not punted since Tom Brady has left. And so this is what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
This is something. This is like Bill Belichick thinks he's so smart. He thinks he's so much smarter than everyone else in the room, and this is going to end up biting him in the ass.
But again, having Tom Brady to mask the blemishes, 100% helps. Like it absolutely does, because essentially you don't even have to coach the offense. You know what you like. Hey, here, Tom, pick what you want. This is what we're gonna do, right? So, and again, you have a young quarterback. Do you not think it's a good idea to at least get him a offensive coordinator? Like Matt Patricia was a defensive guy and just a defensive guy. Joe Judge was a special teamer.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You couldn't have found, I don't know. Moving on to that from this one. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, both out of practices today for the Rams. Something, nothing, everything.
Nothing, because the Rams don't veteran players, the Rams, and you on the Rams, preseason is basically an extended vacation. You just show up you basically just show up so you don't get fined. Like, literally, that's it.
It's true. Yeah, it's absolutely nothing. Next one, Seattle. They have traded for Archaea Whiteside from the Philadelphia Eagles, and they got Ugoga Amadi, who's the defensive back.
So wait,
the Seahawks were going to cut him anyway, so they traded for JJ Archaea Whiteside. Something, nothing, everything.
It's nothing. Like, again, we already know Seattle. They're in the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud sweepstakes, or Will Levis. Like, if you want to throw him in there,
I don't want to throw him in there.
Like, if he be respectful, like, he can
be respectful.
So yeah, that's what that is. Like, it's like how bad can we really be? I also don't think they're done selling. Like, if I see a trade deadline deal for either Lockett or DK Metcalf, wouldn't surprise me one iota.
I would be shocked if DK Metcalf gets traded now. But Tyler Lockett, I think for sure could get traded.
Like, we've seen crazier things happen. We literally saw DeAndre Hopkins get traded for a second round pick. So yeah, but it's nothing. Like, he didn't do anything in Philly. He's not going to do anything there.
2 more. Marcus Peters activated off the pub list. Something, nothing, everything.
Is he still with the Ravens?
He's on the Ravens. Activated off the pub list.
So it's, considering how their season ended last year, it's everything, right? that secondary got ripped to shreds. Like, and it was
Marlon Humphrey got out. I mean, Jimmy Smith is still unsigned by any team in the NFL right now. So
it was not pleasant. It was horrible to watch. And again, this is Pace out there doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing. She's destroying the carpet. So
it's a new place. She has to make it. And again, like, this is a Ravens team that won't they get back. The last time they played the Bengals, it was both times. It was ugly. Joe Burrow threw for like 500 yards against them. Like, they won't they get back. So yeah, this is everything for them.
I don't know about everything, but it's certainly something. Marcus Peters.
It's everything for them, because who did they replace him with?
I don't have no.
Who was the backup?
Jimmy Smith.
Who was the backup? Who was his backup? We saw how it went.
Yeah, obviously, it didn't go well, but
So for them, it's everything.
Sure.
I have my
All right, sure.
starting cornerback.
Sure, it's everything. Last one, Matt Arizotta. Did you see his punt in that Buffalo Bills
I did.
Indianapolis Colts game? He caught it at 80 yards through the back, basically out of the end zone. Like something not. They're calling him the punt god now. Is the punt god something, nothing, or everything? 66 yards in the air is where that punt went.
Nothing. It's a punt. You did your job. Great.
I mean, that's a long way to punt a football, dude. I
like that. Like,
you know,
I 100% understand that, but you did your job. That's like we're amazed at the distance it went. Not that you actually pinned the ball where you did. Like you did your job. That's why they got you. Good job.
I mean, that's why I use a legit draft pick on him.
See, where you become the punt god is where you do that consistently. You want to know why Johnny Hecker's so damn good and he's going to have a job until he doesn't want to kick anymore?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Because he constantly flips the field consistently. You know, like so until you're a better punter than Johnny Hecker, you're not the punt guy. So knock it off.
But it was the first punt of 80 yards or more since 2015. So I mean, it's something. I mean, it's something like a weapon the Buffalo potentially they can use is like a field flipper. You get pinned back. You don't have to necessarily
have to do it consistently though.
Sure, but I think it's certainly something. I think when you see a guy who kick a punt that far, I think that's got to be something. I'm happy with it. Good job for him. Kudos. But yeah, any other final thoughts before we wrap up here today?
No, it's just enjoy the preseason, but take everything you see with a grain of salt. Like again, it's preseason. Guys are just out there trying to get a better feel for the game. No one's really trying to get hurt. We've already seen some injuries to some guys that were hoping to have a big year, i.e. Zach Wilson, Mekhi Becton. And every year, every time a name gets injured, we come across this age-old debate of college football doesn't do preseason. They just go right into it. Here's the difference. Have you seen a college football roster? Have you seen the size?
I mean, you got like 6 quarterbacks on those rosters.
Like, have you seen the size of, like, college football roster sizes are 75 people, right? So unless the NFL wants to, add 7, make it an even 60, add 7 roster spots to their rosters, like where they make 60, they have a 60-man roster, and they just, I mean, I can see eventually down the road, there's going to be no preseason. There's going to be no preseason game.
There'll be 2 games.
Probably the whole time. There probably might just be one. It might be just a Hall of Fame game, and that's it.
I doubt it. I think there will always be at least some preseason games because they need to figure out if these kids can play. Because this is like we're not talking about like college. We're talking about like people making money and doing this. But I guess we'll see. Tomorrow we're going to be predicting the teams that are going to make the playoffs in the NFC, and then Wednesday we're going to be doing our full fantasy show where we talk about drafting decisions and all that kind of stuff. I've been David Huppin right there, Mr. TJ Hopkins, and TJ. What do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat and
yeah. I think you're joining us for that show, right? Though.
That's the first one. Yeah. What day is that again?
It's going to be a Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see how things end up going with my schedule.
All
right, for sure. We'll see you guys later. Y'all have a good day. And we bring the heat here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you ever want to join us and talk a little bit of football, the comment section right there. Prime Sports World, StreamYard link. Peace out, guys. Have a good day. Peace out, brother. Have a good day at work, man.
I will try.